Andy um, is a very intelligent guy, um, sort of self-schooled.
The Andy Griffith Show may have gone off the air in 1968, but that hasn't stopped people from loving it and remaining curious about all the behind-the-scenes stories. In a shocking revelation, acclaimed director Ron Howard, now 71, opens up about his feelings towards a Hollywood legend. Howard remained tight-lipped about the tension for decades, but now he's breaking his silence. What has he revealed? Where it all began. At 4 and 5 and 6 years old, the Andy Griffith Show may have gone off the air, but that hasn't stopped people from loving it. Ron Howard, now at 71, is finally ready to reveal what we've all been curious about. This information given by the Hollywood star throws more light on the relationship between the talented cast members of the Andy Griffith Show. He has spoken about the divers' set secrets, the relationship among the stars, who disliked whom, why, and what happened after the series ended. Which moment did Ron Howard dislike the most? This and many more will be covered in the video. But before then, let's know who the legendary actor Ron Howard is and where it all began. Ron Howard was born on the first day of March in 1954 in Duncan, Oklahoma. His full name is Ron Williams Howard. He was the first child of Rand and Jean Spiegel Howard, and his father was an actor, director, and writer. His mother was an actress trained in New York City, and the duo formed a powerful combination. Being working actors themselves, they profoundly influenced Ron's career choice. Together, they built a family where storytelling and performance were a part of their daily lives. When Ron was born, his father served in the United States Air Force. And even with his military duties, Rand never put his acting career aside. He initially studied acting at the University of Oklahoma. Growing up in this atmosphere, Ron was surrounded by creativity right from the beginning. The Howards lived in Duncan, Oklahoma, a small town with fewer than 20,000 residents. Their lives in this town weren't complex, to say the least. It was far from the entertainment industry. However, even as a toddler, Ron showed something special. Being artistic themselves, they immediately recognized his talent at the early stages and wanted to give him the best possible opportunity to develop it. This decision led them to leave Oklahoma and begin a fresh start in Hollywood. Yet again, the Howards still prefer the simple life even after moving to Los Angeles. They didn't buy luxurious mansions as was the trend back in the day or live lavishly, but chose to settle in Burbank to avoid distractions. No matter how successful they became, they never lost sight of their values. And this mindset kept Howard grounded even as his career took off. How did Howard meet Andy, and what was their relationship like? Let's find out. Ron Howard's big break into the industry. Ron Howard's first appearance on screen was when he was 15 months old. After his family moved to Hollywood, Ron became more conversant with the movie and television industry. He often received audition coaching from his father, who taught him how to deliver his lines. His parents' guidance often influenced his early performances, and he had the opportunity to watch television programs. This singular occurrence gave him an advantage over other young actors of his era. Before Ron Howard featured in the Andy Griffith Show, which was one of his most famous roles at the time, he had featured in several other shows, such as his appearance in the movie titled The Journey in 1959 at the age of 5, signifying his first entry into the film industry, which was by no means an accident or mistake. His talent remained hidden from the limelight until he appeared in other movies such as the anthology show, where he garnered attention. This marked the beginning of Ron Howard as his talent finally became visible to people. Shows such as the Playhouse 90 showed the natural depth of Ron's performance. This was uncommon for a child actor according to critics. In addition to his acting prowess, he dazzled industry veterans during auditions with his sincere interest and passion for the craft. He received several callbacks in his early career. However, this wasn't particularly due to his excellent acting skills, but because casting directors noticed his distinctive red hair several times. His appearance in The Andy Griffith Show as Opie Taylor quickly brought him the enormous fame and breakthrough he needed. At that time, Ron Howard was just 6 years old. He walked onto the set of The Andy Griffith Show, beginning his first impactful journey in the Hollywood industry. Ron Howard was a young boy stepping into a world that was entirely new to him. The bright lights, the cameras, and the bustling crew could all have been overwhelming for a young boy. But something remarkable happened that put him at ease. Ron met Andy Griffith for the very first time on the show, and it left a lasting impression on him. You don't have to worry, as we will reveal their behind-the-scenes relationship and the untold tales. But before diving into that, let's see what The Andy Griffith Show was about. The Andy Griffith Show. The Andy Griffith Show, a legendary American show as far back as the 1960s, had the fusion of comedy with a storyline plotted around humorous situations. The series starred Andy Griffith and Don Knotts. It aired for 8 seasons on CBS from the 3rd of October 1960 to the 1st of April, 1968. The first 59 episodes were broadcast in black and white while the last 90 were in color. Throughout the entire period when the show was aired down to its close in 1968, it consistently ranked high in the mean ratings. It never fell below 7th place on the chart, and the show held the number 1 spot at the time of its conclusion. The Andy Griffith Show focused on the sheriff, Andy Taylor, played by Andy Griffith. The sheriff's wise and sensible approach to life and law enforcement always had a way of disabling and halting the petty criminals causing trouble in his town. A great percentage of his efforts was targeted at protecting the folks in the town and helping to safeguard them from being victims of their vices. The show cleverly taps into popular stereotypes of rural and small-town life. Mayberry is inhabited by people who embody the simplicity often associated with country living. Jim Neighbors played Goomer Pyle, a gas station attendant, and Hal Smith played Otis, a town drunk. Otis' routine of locking himself up in jail after getting intoxicated by alcohol and letting himself out when he was sober became a familiar part of the show. Sheriff Taylor's eager but clumsy cousin, Deputy Barney Fay, portrayed by Don Knotts, serves as his helpless sidekick. Barney's well-intentioned yet misguided tactics often worsen the situation they face. Cahan's portrayal earned him 4 Emmy Awards before he left the show in 1965. Jack Burns replaced him. The show often delves into Taylor's role as a single parent to his son Opie, played by Ron Howard, who loves fishing. Another recurring concern is Taylor's supervision of his unmarried aunt and housekeeper, Auntie B, portrayed by Frances Bavier. The Andy Griffith Show was part of a broader trend in the 1960s television, emphasizing comic and light-hearted country themes and characters. The series spawned 2 spin-offs. Goomer Pyle USMC, which aired from 1964 to 1969, and Mayberry RFD, which ran from 1968 to 1971. It was a mix of drama on TV and behind-the-scenes shenanigans. Even though The Andy Griffith Show ended in 1968, it still holds a special place in people's hearts. Fans remain curious about off-screen antics. Surprisingly, the wholesome 60s classics had their fair share of mischief. Such stunts were often portrayed by none other than the Show's lead actor, Andy Griffith. He had a mischievous side that most of the other crew members knew. And one of his favorite tricks was to wake up his co-star Don Knotts from a nap by dropping a metal film canister onto the floor. George Goober Lindsay also got pranked, as he discovered duck guts strung around his dressing room courtesy of Griffith. The cast got their revenge by stealing Andy's shoe, leaving him with no choice but to wear his oversized sheriff boots home from the studio. The good-natured humor among the cast spilled over into the show's episodes in one memorable instance from The Runaway Kid episode. Opie and his friends played a prank on Sheriff Taylor by moving his car in front of a fire hydrant, setting him up for a parking ticket. This and many more amazing scenes can be seen throughout the entire show. There are some amazing behind-screen secrets that fans of The Griffith Show have been dying to know about. These secrets put together made The Griffith Show iconic. What are hidden facts about the show? Let's find out hidden facts about Griffith's show. One of the most surprising revelations about the Andy Griffith Show is the backstory of its iconic theme song, commonly referred to as the show's opening whistle. This delightful tune, known as the Fishing Hole, was composed by Earl Hagen and Herbert Spencer in an impressively short time, just minutes before the show was set to air. Hagen, who was a talented musician, performed the famous whistling melody himself, which has since become an unforgettable part of television history. While the song was primarily showcased as an instrumental piece during the show's opening, it actually had lyrics. This aspect of the song was somewhat of a hidden gem. Many fans were completely unaware that the fishing hole could be sung with words. In an interesting twist, Andy Griffith himself recorded a version that included those lyrics, providing a charming addition to the original whistled composition. The theme song not only sets the tone for the show, but also has a nostalgic quality that resonates deeply with audiences. Its simple, catchy melody invites viewers into the small-town world of Mayberry, where warmth and humor abound. The fact that such a beloved piece of music came together in a matter of minutes speaks volumes about the creativity and spontaneity that surrounded the show's production. Fans of the Andy Griffith Show remember the theme for its catchy tune, but understanding its origin adds even more depth to its legacy. One could assume that outside of The Griffith Show, no other connection exists between the actors, and that the connections seen were simply out of a good performance as displayed by the different actors. But the reverse is the case. Outside the show, Andy and Dawn were good friends. Their enduring bond can be traced back to the mid-1950s when fate brought them together in New York City during the production of the Broadway debut portraying Corporal Emmanuel Dexterity, sharing the stage with Andy, who played the lead role of the country bumpkin. The connection between Don and Andy stood the test of time and transcended decades of friendship. The extent of this true friendship was visible even in Don Knotts' final days in 2006. Andy remained by his side. This proves their unwavering connection to each other. The friendship between the two was as genuine as it gets in Hollywood, making them a legendary duo for ages. A shocking turn of events took place during the production of the second season of The Andy Griffith Show. It was revealed that Andy Griffith struck a wall. This turn of events revealed a more violent side of Andy Griffith. The incident resulted in a very serious injury to his hand, which ultimately required extensive bandaging while the movie was being shot. To adequately conceal the cause of the injury while shooting, the filmmakers infused a story that Sheriff Taylor had gotten himself injured while trying to apprehend criminals. This was preferred to admitting that he lost control of his fury. This imaginative explanation sounded more appealing. Another interesting behind-the-scenes secret that isn't known to many who watched the Griffith series is that the Opie character, played by Ron Howard, didn't throw the rock in the lake. During the filming of the Andy Griffith Show's opening credits in the summer of 1960 at Franklin Canyon near Beverly Hills, there was a slight challenge which arose. While shooting the scene where Andy and Opie were expected to stroll along a dirty road with their fishing gear. In this scene, Opie was expected to toss a rock into the water. However, 6 years old Ron Howard, who played the role Opie, couldn't quite manage the throw as he could deliver his lines. This difficulty came due to Ron's age and limitations in his strength. The crew had to come up with an alternative solution that would still make it look like Opie made the throw. Hence, there was a clever idea to fuse a prop man into that scene. His job was to hide in the bushes and skillfully toss his rock into the water at the same time Opie swings his hand to make the throw. This would create the illusion that he did throw the rock himself. After shooting this scene, the idea worked perfectly and was a prime example of television magic in action. One would think that such a legendary actor as Andy Griffith shouldn't encounter any challenges in delivering any role on a movie set that he was given. However, that doesn't seem true. After all, he had difficulty delivering one of his roles. He was never comfortable with on-screen romance. No wonder he had several on-screen romantic interests throughout the period. His first on-screen interest was with Ellie Walker, played by Eleanor Donahue. Ellie, a newcomer to town, worked at her uncle's drugstore. Eleanor Donahue's appearance was in 12 episodes. She played a pharmacist in the show. This earned her a mention in the opening credits. Initially, she was intended to be a romantic interest for Sheriff Andy Taylor, but Eleanor asked to be released from her 3-year contract after just 1 season. This was because of the immense lack of chemistry between her and Andy Griffith. Griffith himself acknowledged his difficulty in expressing affection on screen. This inability of the two actors to connect affected their on-screen performance, which resulted in a relationship that felt insincere. Consequently, Ellen's character was scrapped off the show. Next on the list is the real reason Barney F. never really appeared in subsequent seasons after the 5th season. When the show began, Andy Griffith shared with Don Knotts, who played the role of Barney F., and the rest of the cast, his intentions to run the series only for 5 seasons. Consequently, everyone signed contracts to that effect. Towards the end of the 5th season, Don began exploring other opportunities and promptly secured a deal with Universal for shooting 5 films. This plan, however, took a different turn when sponsors and network executives convinced Andy to reconsider. After much deliberation, Andy restarted the show, leading to its continuation beyond its originally intended duration. This extended the show by a 6th season until the 8th season. This came as a surprise to everyone who followed the show. Another interesting thing about the Griffith Show was the many cars used. Just as the music was integral to the Andy Griffith Show, cars also held great importance. Some of the show's best episodes revolved around the vehicles and the characters driving them. For the 9 years that the program aired, it showcased many impressive cars. Some of the cars that stood out would be the Griffith's cop cars, which were consistently the Ford Galaxy 500 sedans. As the series progressed, Ford vehicles became increasingly prominent, likely due to a sponsorship from the Ford Motor Company. The show was supplied with a car with each new model released, resulting in 10 cars throughout the series. Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates just like this.